I can do this. Words in a row. Make it happen. I believe in you. Hey makeup friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, then welcome. On my channel, we try to balance beauty, brains with the occasional F-bomb, so if that sounds like something you're interested in, just keep watching. Today we're going to be talking monthly favorites. Yes, it's the end of September somehow. I don't know how, but here we are. I have a ton of products to talk about, so I'm going to stop blabbering and just get straight into it. First up, let's talk about a brush that has just taken my foundation to the next level. Just promise me you're not going to judge me by how dirty it is. It hasn't been washed yet. This brush right here. This is the BK Beauty 101 brush. It's so perfect. I have raved about this brush over and over again since I got it, but it's just so damn good I can't stop talking about it. I love the slant to it. I love the density of the bristles. I love how soft they are. It's so precise. It blends out everything so effortlessly, so beautifully. It's just like the perfect foundation brush. I didn't know such a thing existed, but here it is. I do think they're currently sold out, but I do imagine that they will restock soon, so keep your eye on that. Now, I do not have a code with BK Beauty, but my friend Britt Clark does, so I'm going to pop it on the screen here in case you do decide to purchase from them. Use her code. It is affiliated, but it will earn her a small commission and save you 10%. So while we're on the topic of foundation, this guy. This is the Air Flash from Dior. It's a spray foundation. I've had it for ages. I can also thank Britt Clark for this one. Half of my makeup collection is because of Britt Clark, to be honest, but this one, I've had it for a while, but I've just sort of pulled it back out recently, and I am loving how convenient it is. You just give it a good old shake. I spray it on that brush, just apply it. It sets beautifully, it wears beautifully, it looks beautiful. It's not one of those foundations that looks like makeup. It just sort of disappears into my skin, makes it look nice and even. I'd say it has about a medium coverage at best. You can build it up a bit, but I frankly like the medium coverage. So this one, it's spency. It really is. I think it's like $80 Canadian, but my God, is it ever nice. This is one that, like, as much as it's going to hurt my soul to replace it because of the cost, I'm going to. But what I'm going to do, pro tip to the Canadians out there, I'm going to save up my Shoppers Drug Mart points and use them to get this for free. Now let's take a step back in the makeup application and talk about primer. This one is new to me. It is the Rare Beauty Illuminating Primer, but it's so beautiful. I fell hard and fast for this one. This is just the mini size, but I did a video where I tested out all the products that I picked up from Rare Beauty, and I applied this to just half of my face in that video, just so that you could see what the effect on the skin is. And so here, I'm just going to apply it onto half of my hand. So this is just nothing. And then you can see just how well it catches the light where the primer is. And that luminosity does sort of peek through foundation once you apply it on top. Not to the same degree, it does sort of tone it down a little bit, but on those high points of your face, you can see it peeking through. And I think it's just a really, really nice product. There's no silicone in it. It doesn't have that slippery feel to it. It almost feels like you're applying a moisturizer, but the glow that it gives, chef's kiss perfection. I really like this primer. Now, while there are a number of concealers at the moment that I'm loving, there is one that I keep reaching for over and over again. And it kind of surprises me, to be honest. It's from e.l.f. I think I paid like $8 for this, and it's the Hydrating Camo Concealer with a satin finish, and I have the shade Light Sand. This is a little workhorse. It has really good coverage to it. It doesn't make my under eyes look dried out at all. It has a giant doe foot on it, so applying it is quite easy. It reminds me of I always have to think really hard before I say it, Tarte Shape Tape. I always call it Shark Tape. I don't know why, but Tarte Shape Tape. Anyways, that's what it reminds me of. But the most surprising thing about this, and the thing that I love the most about it, is that it wears so nicely throughout the day. It doesn't get all like dried out and cakey under my eyes. It doesn't just disappear. It still shows some signs of wear, as any concealer does that I've tried, but this one holds up probably the best out of any of the concealers that I have. It is really good. If you haven't tried this, I really do highly recommend it. Now, in talking with you guys in the comments in previous videos, the hydrating one apparently performs better than the regular one. I don't know if it's called matte or it's just the camo. I think it's just the camo concealer, but the hydrating camo concealer is where it's at, and I can vouch for this one. Now, another concealer that I'm loving at the moment is from Bare Minerals, and this is the Eye Brightener Broad Spectrum SPF 20 Sunscreen in the shade Well Rested. And it's a powder concealer. Apparently this has been around for quite some time, but it completely missed my radar. There's what the inside of it looks like. It just spins and then it opens up the little like holes, I guess, and then you can cover them back up so the powder's not spilling all over the place. I like this as a setting powder just for extra coverage, but I also really like it just on its own. So on days when I'm just running errands and just want to look a little bit more human-like than I normally do in my organic state, I like to cover up my dark circles with this because I can just pick a tiny bit up on a brush, do the thing, blend it out, and away I go. And it holds up really well throughout the day. I was very concerned that because it's a powder, it would just end up like caking up in any little creases that I have, but it doesn't. It wears beautifully. It's so convenient. It has really good coverage. Like, it really does brighten up under my eyes. I am really in love with this one. Now, let's talk fingernails. I just did a whole video on Snokka press-on nails. I love them. I had to include them in here. This is the set that I'm wearing right now. So these ones obviously are sizes that didn't fit my fingernails, but that's what the set looks like. As you can see there, they're just so convenient. They're so impressive. As I said in my review video on them, they do come with little glue tab things, that like the little pads that you put underneath. And I'm usually pretty leery of those because I've never had good experiences with them. But with these, I managed to get 8 days of wear, and even at that, I had to actually remove the nails. They weren't just falling off. I'm really impressed with the longevity of them. When I removed them, the glue just peeled right off. I can rewear them. The nails hadn't warped, they hadn't chipped, they hadn't cracked. There was no issues with them. I really am so impressed with these. They have a lot of options to choose from. They are going to be linked down below. Pretty much everything here, I suspect, is going to be linked down below. But with Snokka, I do have an affiliate discount code. It's Kara25. It'll save you 25%. With no minimum purchase required. So if you're interested in nails, I recommend those ones. Let's talk about cheeks. I've got a lot of cheek products to talk about. So let's talk about the palette first. This one is from Jouer, and this is the Champagne and, I don't know how to say it, Macarons? Macarons. There it is. It's this one. Hopefully you can see the words. Did it focus? Yes, it did. There, that palette. And it is so beautiful. Now, unfortunately, my bronzer came a little bit damaged, but it's still holding up. It's still usable. There are the shades. This highlighter here is stunning. If you don't want an entire face palette, but you're in the market for a beautiful highlighter, this is Citrine, and they do sell it as an individual, as a single. It's the highlighter that I'm wearing right now. I'm wearing both of the blushes sort of mixed together on my cheeks, but this highlight, let me just say, what time is it? It is 8 o'clock. I applied this probably around 11 o'clock this morning, so that's 9 hours, and that's what that highlighter is still looking like. Like, I didn't touch it up. That's impressive. That is beautiful. I love all of the powders in this. I like the size of it as well for being a face palette. There's not a ton of different shades in there, and it is something that I reach for over and over again. The highlighter in here is the kicker for me. The blushes and the bronzer are all beautiful as well, but oh my gosh, that highlighter, I stan. Now I have 3 blushes to talk about. So in addition to the face palette blushes, I also have one from Fenty here, and this one is in the shade Rosé Latte. I didn't order this one. It just showed up in a package that I ordered from Sephora. But I'm really glad for that little accident on their behalf, because this shade, it looks intense in the pan, but it blends out so nicely. I did email their customer service and was like, you you guys included this in my order by accident. Do you want me to take it to the store or ship it back? And they're like, nah, just keep it. I'm like, all right. So I did. And it worked out really well because there it is just tapped onto the back of my hand. And I find that it just gives a nice, realistic flush. It is a little bit deep. I would sheer this out more on my cheeks, obviously, but I just want you to be able to see the color. I like how nice and like earthy the shade is. It's a change for me from like the corals and the pinks that I normally wear. I really like it. And the formula on these as well, like they do blend out nicely. There's no stickiness to them. They're good little products right here. I've talked about these ones a multitude of times as well. These are the, I don't even know what their name is now, KVD, Kendo, Vegan, Lovin', all the things, whatever the fuck their name is, I don't know. Anyways, this one's in the shade Honeysuckle, and I just love it for just natural makeup days. It's so, like, it looks so bland in the pan, but it just adds that little bit of something. If you remember, is it Becca Wild Honey? This reminds me of Wild Honey. It's not quite peach, it's not quite brown, it's sort of a mix of the two, like a dusty peach, I guess you could say. Hopefully it'll show up. Yeah, there it is. So it just adds like a kiss of color to the cheeks. So on days when I'm using like just that powder concealer, some mascara, and I throw this blush and some lip gloss on out the door, I just feel pretty. Like I just feel like it's me, but emphasized. And the quality of these blushes, they're beautiful. They're really beautiful. I was very conflicted before I purchased from that brand again, because I hadn't in a very long time. But those blushes, they're so good. Okay. Now, I do have another blush that is very new to me, but it knocked my socks off. I understand now why everybody was raving about them. It's from Patrick Ta. It's one of the, what are these called? The Double Take Cream and Powder Blush Duos in the shade Do We Know Her. There they are there. And I didn't realize, but you can see like how it's catching the light. That's because there's a little plastic cover. It's so intelligent. So like your cream blush doesn't get violated by the powder or anything like that. Nothing transfers between the two of them. They're so, so nice. I'm just gonna wipe the back of my hand here so I can show you. Now granted, I haven't had this for very long, but it is a fast favorite. I am so impressed. The cream blush is really, really nice to blend out. It's really pigmented. I do have one of his original blushes and it doesn't really show up on my skin tone, like unless I really pile it on. So I was worried that these were going to be super sheer as well. Nope, I didn't need to worry about that. So this one over here is the cream blush and then there's the powder there. And I find you can layer the two of them or you can wear them individually. I just think they're so, so pretty. These kind of shades are right up my alley. I love, love the packaging. I love this little idea. And then it's so classy. Like it feels luxe. I love the rose gold. I love that it's just so compact. There's nothing wasted in the space or anything of that. So I'm in love. Do we want to talk about lips or do we want to talk about eyeshadows? Let's talk about lips first. So we just talked about Patrick Ta. I'm going to talk about him again. I have one of his lipsticks here. This is the, oh, there's no fancy name to it. It's just lipstick in the shade Oh She's Single. I feel like I've talked about this one before as well. It's a nice matte finish. This one's obviously a very neutral kind of shade. The formula of these is so nice to wear. While it has a matte finish, it still feels hydrating on the lips. It's very long lasting. It's like a soft matte, so it's not like matte. Does that make sense? Like there's like a little tiny bit of a sheen to it, which I feel like just helps to make you look a little bit more alive than like full-on matte lips. And like I said, it's very comfortable. It wears evenly, it wears nicely, it doesn't feather. It's beautiful, and again, the packaging is lovely. I'd be very interested in getting more of these. Let's bring the price point down a little bit though. Again, I've talked about this, but this is the Lifter Gloss from Maybelline. It's so nice. It says it has hyaluronic acid in it, which I think is meant to help with the whole hydration side of it, but it's just a very nice gloss. And I don't even want to say like it's a nice gloss for being drugstore. I would argue it's the best gloss at the drugstore, but put it beside any of my other glosses, like my Pat McGrath gloss, all of those, it still holds up. It is beautiful. Very similar shade to over here, but it goes with everything. It doesn't get sticky or gummy. It doesn't produce those little like lines of disgustingness. It doesn't camp out in the corners of my mouth. It's just a really nice gloss to wear, and I'm really impressed with it. I'm also very impressed with these lipsticks. These are from Juvia's Place. Now, I only have one shade. I need to order more. This one's in the shade #2020. I'm wondering if they named this before they knew just what in the hell 2020 was going to hold in store for us, because it's beautiful. 2020, not so much. It's been an interesting year to say the least. There it is. It's so pretty. They have like a sweet scent to them, but not as strong as, say, like the MAC lipsticks. These go on like butter. I don't know how else to describe it. They're creamy and smooth. They're super pigmented. They're an incredibly comfortable lipstick to wear. And again, it's one that, like I said, I need more shades of this because it's just such a beautiful formula to wear. Last but not least is what I'm wearing on my lips today, and this is from the Lip Bar. This is their liquid lipstick in the shade Hot Mess. I guess Hot Mess, it's a play on words. First of all, the packaging is really cool. I love like that like Art Deco kind of deal going on. If that's not Art Deco, please don't correct me. I think it is, but I could be wrong. Nice little doe foot. It is a liquid lipstick. It will dry down matte. Is it transfer proof? I can't remember. Yep, it's transfer proof. It is very comfortable to wear as well. I don't know why I swatched it. It's on my lips. You can see it. I'll swatch another one. I have another shade as well. So this one is in the shade Crown Me. They're just really comfortable lipsticks to wear. I'm fairly picky with my liquid lipsticks. Like if they're too sticky, if they're too drying, anything of that sort, or if they crumble and get cracky, I'm not going to wear them. This one, no stickiness. It's not uncomfortable. I can barely even feel that I'm wearing anything on my lips, and it wears really nicely. So there's Crown Me over here. All right, now it's time for eyeshadows. I really did sort of rein myself in. Didn't want to include everything that I like, just sort of like the ones that really rise to the top right now, the ones that I just keep reaching for over and over again. First up, let's talk about a single, and it's a liquid eyeshadow, but my God, is it stunning. It's this guy here. This is from Natasha Denona, one of the Chromium Multi-Chrome liquid lipsticks. This one's in the shade Scarab. It's so beautiful, and it wears perfectly throughout the day. I was very concerned, first of all, that it really wasn't going to be multi-chrome. I was worried that it was just going to be messy, that it was either going to take way too long to dry or dry way too quickly so that you can't really work with it. I was worried it was going to crack. I was just skeptical, especially for the price point. These are about $37 each. I just have the one. I would be very interested in picking up at least one more, but look how freaking stunning it is. Like, it's honestly like a beetle. It's so, so beautiful. It wears nicely on its own. You just throw like even just your bronzer into your crease and you've got a completed eye look. I paired it with teal recently. Like, I was sad to wash my makeup off. I really did not want to because I loved that eye look so much. And by the end of the day, it still looks exactly like this. It's super lightweight. It's really easy to apply. All I do, if I can find, the brush might be dirty, waiting for a bath. No, perfect, here it is. So this one is from Makeup Forever. It is the number 220 brush, but basically any really flat shader brush will do. This one just happens to be really thin, but I just wipe off the excess off of the doe foot, pick up a little bit of the product, and then just like pat it along my eyes. Beautiful. All right, we're gonna close it out with two palettes that I have fallen madly in love with. One, again, this one surprised me because this is a brand that I just kind of tend to look down my nose on a little bit. I don't know why. I just have never had like knock my socks off experiences with them before until this palette. This is from BH Cosmetics, and this is the Sweet Shop Cherry on Top palette. Now, for whatever reason, I'm pretty sure they made these limited edition, and like BH Cosmetics, not that you're watching my video, but like, hey, stranger things have happened. If you do happen to see this, please, please make these permanent. These are incredible. Here are the shades inside this one. There was a green one, a blue one, a neutral one, a purple one, and an orange one, and I might be missing a shade, I'm not sure. I was a dummy and I only picked up one because I was like, well, I guess I'll try it and see. I mean, I like those colors. Now I can't find the other ones. So incredibly good. The mattes, beautiful. The shimmers, next level. They're incredible. So here's just a little smattering of them. I'm literally speechless right now, which is not particularly helpful when I'm trying to film a video. I just don't know what else to say about these. Like, the swatches kind of speak for themselves. Like, and this shade, I honestly don't think I have anything like that in my collection at all. And these red shades don't blend out into pink. Like, they stay red, which is like my biggest frustration with red shades, is that they tend to be like, oh, just kidding, I'm actually pink. And it's very frustrating. And these ones, these are the real deal. If you can find these palettes anywhere, snap them up. They're so good. The quality is incredible. They are so easy to work with. I am kicking myself that I didn't pick up the green one. I literally kick myself for that because this one, so incredibly good. And that brings us to the last palette that I want to talk about today, and it is from Kaleidos. This is the Escape Pod palette. Now, I'm not wild on the packaging, I will admit. I think it's rather bulky for what it is. On the plus side, it is just a flat rectangle, so it's easy to store. There's that. I just think it's bulky for what it is. But here are the shades inside here, and the reason why I love this so much is that it's so versatile. So you can do wild, super colorful looks, or you can just do like a really neutral look. So this is one of those palettes that I reach for and I have fun when I am getting ready to film, or if I'm going somewhere more fun than just my office. But it's also a palette that I have been reaching for over and over and over again for work. So in particular, this bottom row here, and in particular this shade, it's so beautiful. It's like a metallic olivey green with a hint, oh shit, I still had some red on my finger. Well, that's not gonna help. Let's try that one again, shall we? That's better. And again, these are shimmer shadows that 8 hours later, they still look as good as it does right now. Like, it's beautiful. The quality of these shadows, they're incredible. I am so impressed with Kaleidos. You can see in the background, I have a number of their palettes. I've got 2 more here that I haven't yet had a chance to play with, and this one, not a single one have disappointed me. They are consistent across all of those palettes. The mattes all perform equally well. The shimmers all perform equally well. I am blown away, and I'm already excited to see what they come out with next, even though they just released 2 earlier this month. The purple one here, and then the one that I have on my eyes here, which is called Sashimi City. I always have a hard time with that one. It's in the background right now. I'm so impressed with the consistency of this brand. I haven't tried any of their lip products. I'd be interested to hear from you guys if you have, what you think of those. I do have one of the highlighters and I really like that as well, but for me, it's the eyeshadows from them. They are stunning. All right, guys, and there you have it. Those are the products that I've been reaching for over and over again this month. I am in love with each and every one of them. It's always amazing to me how our favorites change over time though, and how, you know, I haven't really committed to doing monthly favorites because sometimes they don't change. And then other times they do, but it's really nice to just sort of rotate through my collection and find old loves like this foundation here that I haven't used in a while and just sort of reconnect with it and remember why it is that I loved it so much in the first place. So, with all that said, thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.